Hello beautiful, welcome to session 6 in Pelvic Floor 101, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between tension and tone in the body, specifically in and around the pelvic floor. Now when it comes to the pelvic floor, we can think that, there's a lot of obsession around pelvic floor. If we actually start to dive into pelvic floor education in the world, there is so much information out there, and it's nearly like we could become obsessed about healing the pelvic floor. But what I believe the truth is that we actually need to stop focusing on strengthening the pelvic floor, and we need to understand where we hold tension in the body. And even though nearly every single woman holds tension through the pelvic floor, we also hold tension in other parts of our body. And this is why it's so important to teach the fascia release work for me. It's so important for women to understand that what we're focusing on here isn't just between our legs. It's our whole body. It's how we breathe. It's how we hold stress and tension in our body. But I want to talk specifically about stress and tension in the pelvic floor, because if you are wanting to heal this part of your body, even though you need to show up and do the fascia release work, you need to be able to understand how the breath moves in your body. If we do carry tension in the body and we aren't understanding how to release that, then we're starting to build strength on top of tension. This is not what we want. We want to be able to release tension first and start to build tone. So for women, often when I'm working with their bodies and I'm watching them in class, I will see a tense body will not breathe well. I will see a tense body and a tense pelvic floor will fluctuate differently through the movement of the tummy and the coordination of the core muscles. So being able to release tension also allows the core muscles to be able to relax and regroup. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more now. And I'm going to do it through a little simple illustration of a bicep curl. And we all know what a bicep curl is, when we curl our hand in and we're accessing this muscle here. My biceps aren't as big as they used to be, but there's still something there. But my boys continue to point out there's more here. But anyway, you know what? That's what happens as we age. We'll just keep working on it, right? So when we do a bicep curl, we engage the muscle here, right? This muscle becomes more engaged, it's contracted. When we extend the arm, there's a lengthening of the muscle. If I were to do a bicep curl where I constantly just did this and I pumped that, even if I do this 10 times here while I'm talking to you, what starts to happen in my body is that my shoulder starts to get really sore. It's like it's constantly strong, in a strong position, and it's never relaxing. And I also start to get a little bit of pain here. And what would happen over time is the muscles would also start to weaken. So even though I'm like pumping the muscle and I'm trying to get it strong, I actually need to fully let go and release tension, so we can get that full release and the full contraction of the muscle. And if we think about this being our pelvic floor, if we're just constantly doing Kegels all the time and we're not allowing the muscles, we're not allowing the fascia to release and open up, there's this whole capacity of the pelvic floor that's not being utilized, but we're also creating stress and tension in the areas around the pelvic floor, i.e. our hips, our glutes, our hamstrings, that aren't functioning well, and the pelvic floor is also getting weak at the same time. And so this is why it's so important to not only understand, one, do we have pelvic floor tension? So whether that's seeing me or whether that's seeing a gynecologist or a pelvic floor physio, go and have an assessment. As we age, I think it's really, really important. We go to the dentist to get our checkups. Have a checkup, once every 12 months to see what is happening. And even if that's you looking at your own body, I teach this a lot in my work, is understanding your own body. And this is one way that we can do it. Go and see someone. Find out if you have pelvic floor tension. And then it's about starting to release that. And I also think pelvic floor tension isn't just in the muscles itself, but it's also it's not just physical, but it's also emotional. So a lot of the work that I do with women in a non-physical sense is looking at the experiences that we've been through as a woman. What else is causing tension in the pelvic muscles and tissues and fascia? Is it because we've had a tear? Is it because we've got scar tissue? Is it because we have been through experiences where there's a constant bracing there? Have we been experiencing constipation a lot or leaking a lot, or we're feeling like our organs are falling a little bit into a place we're not used to? And so there's like a perpetual holding in our body. All of these little things create tension that we're subconsciously holding in the body, and we want to start to release that. So this is the first session, just explaining why we want to actually get that release. And then I want to talk you through a little bit more breath work and a little bit more release work, and really, really encourage you to drop into the weekly sessions that we're doing and start to feel the work take place in your body and become more second nature. We want to subconsciously train our woman body to let go and to relax so that the muscles have the best opportunity to actually activate and work well for us. They cannot do that for us in a tense state. So your task for today is, whether that's to go into the internal work exercise and understand your own internal work, start looking at the breath work section, and perhaps organize a session for yourself where you go and see a professional or someone that you feel comfortable with. It could be a holistic pelvic wellness practitioner. It could be me. It could be me talking you through this in a one-on-one session. But start to understand how and where you hold tension in your pelvic floor, but also other areas of your body. Quite often, when I'm working with women, once we start to work through this part of our body, they'll start to notice tension release through the shoulders, through the neck, right up into their head. Headaches disappear, upper back, lower back pain disappears, because it's all so connected. So I hope that lesson makes sense to you. If you have any light bulb moments, anything that comes up for you, please feel free to pop them in the comments. Love to hear your feedback and love to hear what your thoughts are in and around what you notice in your body. It's always helpful for other women to read. Mwah. Have a great day.